This series is gonna ruin me.
Why is that gonna make me cry? It's not even emotional.
I just said a lot of words there and I don't know if they made any sense. Hi guys, welcome in, welcome back to Vlogmas, and welcome to another reading vlog. So what I thought would be fun is doing a holiday beverages, holiday drinks, choose what books I read, because it's still Christmas holiday themed, but it doesn't have to be like holiday books. So I'm going to be picking books for 3 different Christmas or holiday beverages for this week, and it's going to be fully based off of how each of those drinks makes me feel, what they mean to me in the Christmas season, how other people tend to see those beverages, and just the overall vibes of them. That's what I'm going to use to base my decisions for the books that I'm going to read. So the holiday drinks are, of course, peppermint mocha. I literally couldn't not include peppermint mocha in this video. Chestnut praline latte and hot chocolate. Okay, I actually misspoke here. The second drink is supposed to be the caramel brulee latte. So it's peppermint mocha, caramel brulee latte, and hot chocolate. All very different, have different vibes, and that's what we're going to base all of our decisions off of. The first drink that I'm going to be choosing a book for is peppermint mocha. To me, a peppermint mocha is just like a comfort drink. I have never had a peppermint mocha that I didn't like, and whenever I go to a new coffee shop or anything and they have a peppermint mocha, that's just like a good staple to get if you haven't tried their coffee before. And so it's just something that it's like, it's reliable, it's comforting, and you can almost never go wrong with a peppermint mocha unless you don't like peppermint. So with those vibes, I think that the most appropriate choice would be to pick out a comfort read. So just something that is super cozy, very easy to get through, very low stakes. So I have a few books here with me, but I also have some that I don't physically have. Each of the drinks, I have 6 books that I'm choosing from. So some of them I have on my physical TBR, some of them I don't. We're just gonna work through it. Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. I have had this probably for like 2 years now, and I have heard wonderful things about this book. From what I've heard, it's just very much the vibes. It is cozy, it is just fantasy, magical world type of vibes, and that is very cozy and very comforting to me. So this is option number 1. It just caught onto my hair. The next option is Kiss of the Selkie by Sonia Odette. This is the Entangled with Fae series. This is a Little Mermaid retelling. Oh my gosh, I can't speak. But it's a Little Mermaid retelling, and I've read 3 or 4 from this series, and each and every one of them is just so cozy and so well done, and I really enjoy every single time that I sit down and read one of Sonia's books. So for me, I can never go wrong with a Sonia Odette book. And the third option, I had to have something from my December TBR in this mix somewhere, and that is the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore. I have started reading this just a little bit on my Kindle. I literally think I'm just on chapter 2. Even though we're getting into winter now, it's still kind of fun to look back on fall and throw in a few fall books here and there. So Cinnamon Bun Bookstore is option number 3. And then the last few books I don't have here with me, but I wanted to add these to the list because every time I kept thinking cozy and comforting, how many times have I said that in like the first few minutes of this video? These books kept coming into my head and I couldn't ignore it, so I just added them to the list. So option number 4 would be People Watching. This was I think it's a new release this year, and it was really, really big during the fall. Based off a little bit that I've heard and the different people that have expressed how much they liked it, and I have very similar book tastes to those people, I think that I would enjoy it. Number 5 is Legends and Lattes. That has been on the brain for a long time. I have heard people rave about this book. And option number 6, and the final option for Peppermint Mocha, is The Storied Life of A.J. Thickery. Another one that I've heard raving reviews about. So those are the options that we have. I think I'm going to go with Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. I know there's been several people that have messaged me being like, you need to read this book. Well, look, I'm reading it and I'm so excited. So I read half of this book yesterday. I got to page 160. I'm on the 19th of November, but so far I'm actually really enjoying this. I didn't think I was going to like this book as much as I have been liking it. So we're following Emily Wilde. She is a fairy magical world researcher. She does a lot of publications and different books and everything. She's in a town that's like in the Sweden, Norway type area, and she's trying to find out more about their local fairy community called the Hidden Ones. She is very socially awkward, to say the least. She doesn't really know how to carry herself with the locals. She's seemingly the most comfortable with the different fairies and fae and magical creatures. That's her comfort zone. And she has this, I guess, like academic rival, but also she says that he's her only friend. His name is Wendell Bambleby. Is that it? Bambleby? It's a funny name. He shows up to kind of piggyback on her research, and they kind of make a deal where he's going to be at this convention, and he proposed that they would present all of the research that they find together so that she can kind of get her name out there, because he's kind of the guy. And he has a bit of a reputation and made a name for himself. Some of it not that great, but it does give Emily a really good opportunity to expand in her professional world. So now they're working together to figure out what's going on with the Hidden Ones, and a lot of stuff is going on now. I don't know what I was expecting going into this book, but it wasn't this. There's mystery, there's intrigue, there's some action, but I am thoroughly enjoying this book so far. I wasn't expecting to. I do have a little bit of time right now, so I want to sit and read it. I think I'm going to be able to finish this today. So I'm not going to waste any more time, and we're going to jump back in. So I finished Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. Overall thoughts and opinions, really enjoyed this book. There's mystery, there's intrigue, there's hints at romance. There is a profession of love, but the way that it happens is really funny. There's a lot of humor in this as well. It was just really fun the entire time. And the way that the story is told is through journal entries. It's all in the words of the characters. They are describing what's happening. They are the ones going through everything, and they're telling the story to you. It's not just the author describing what the characters are going through. It is through their lens, if that makes sense. There were a couple of really funny parts. When it came to Wendell, I think I said it earlier that I thought he was very funny. He's very cocky, very confident, very arrogant, but in a funny way that doesn't make me hate him. And he also was very sarcastic, especially when it came to Emily. This entire book, for the most part, is in Emily's point of view. Like, she's the one doing all the journal entries. She's the one describing everything. She's the primary researcher. One section where it's in Wendell's point of view, as if to say that he took her journal and was writing entries for her while she was unavailable. And the way that he writes is, I can't even describe it. I don't know how to describe Wendell other than I really like him. And I usually don't like the cocky, confident guys, but I really liked him. I don't know if this is making any sense because honestly, I'm a little bit delirious right now. But I can say that I really enjoyed this book. I think I'm going to land at around a 4 stars. It might pop down to like a 3.75, but right now I'm feeling 4 stars. It's very cozy. It's very fun. There's some funny moments. And there are some really heartwarming moments too. Emily had a really difficult time with understanding how to interact with the different local people of the city or town that she was staying in for her research. And by the end of this book, she finds her way and they all kind of rally around her with something that she's dealing with. And it was really heartwarming to see that she kind of had this community around her. And it just made my heart swell. And that's all. I was thinking right after I finished Emily Wilde's that I was just going to update and pick the next book tomorrow. I really want to start a new book right now. So we're going to go ahead and pick book number 2 right now. So the next holiday drink that I'm going to be picking for is the caramel brulee latte. Whenever I think of a caramel brulee latte, I think fan favorite. I think it's super hyped up. I think very popular. One of the most ordered drinks around this time of year, other than peppermint mocha, of course. It has a dedicated following. So I'm going to be picking a book that has a dedicated following, a book that is a fan favorite, a book that has a lot of hype behind it. So here are the options for caramel brulee latte. First up, Daisy Hates, of course. I heard about Magnolia Parks and Daisy Hates for so long. I finally read Magnolia Parks, I think it was a little over a year ago. This series has so much hype, and I do hear that people like Daisy Hates more than Magnolia. So I think that this might even be more fan favorite of the fan favorites of the hyped books of this series. I just said a lot of words there, and I don't know if they made any sense. But we have Daisy Hates. Second option is Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. This is a book that I heard of a lot when I first started to get into reading again. When I first discovered the BookTube community, I saw so many people talk about this book, about how heartwarming it is, how wonderful of a love story it is. Immediately upon hearing one good review, I bought this book, and I've had it ever since then, and I haven't touched it. I feel like I'm the last person to not read this book, because so many people love it. So this is option number 2. Option number 3 is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. Same deal. I've heard about this series for years. Got the entire trilogy before I even really got into reading. I just saw BookTube, was influenced, and bought the books. And I've just had them. And whenever I go on Goodreads and I look at this book and I see everyone that I know that has read this book is like 4 or 5 stars, and I'm like, what am I missing out on? So that's an option. Next one is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. We all know her. I feel like this book needs no explanation as to why it's in the hyped up books or the fan favorite section of this video. I mean, it literally won Book of the Year in 2022. Obviously, it's going to be on this list. And then I have 2 more books. Both of them are on my Kindle. We've got Six of Crows. I've heard that it's like a life-changing series. And then Mile High, the first book in the Windy City series. That's another series that I've heard amazing things about, and I've been wanting to pick up that series so badly. So now we choose. I've chosen. I'm not even gonna lie, I already knew what book I was going to pick up and read next before I even turned on the camera. But it's Mile High by Liz Tom Ford. This series has just been on my mind a lot over the last few months, and I just want to do it. I just want to start reading this series. Also, as a mood reader, I am in the mood for this sports romance type of vibe. Like, I don't want drama. I don't want fantasy. I don't want this. I want a good old sports romance. That's what I'm in the mood for, and that's what we're going to read next. So let's see if this caramel brulee vibe book lives up to the hype.
Why is that gonna make me cry? It's not even emotional.
I've been reading this book all morning, and it's safe to say that I am obsessed. I went into Mile High kind of expecting it to not be the best, because I've heard a lot of not great things about Mile High, but amazing things about the Windy City series as a whole, and that this one is the worst of the bunch. Where? Literally where? Like, I see most of the negative reviews revolving around Xander's. I think he's a character that's really easy to not fully understand and just like write him off as a complete douchebag. I mean, that's the reputation that he's worked to get in the NHL, in the media. That is the reputation that he's built, and that is what the people, as he's convinced himself, know and love. So I think it's really easy for anyone that's reading this to see the things that he's doing and saying, how he's treated Stevie. At first glance, yeah, he's being a jerk, but at the same time, knowing the backstory, and also seeing the undertones of everything that he's doing, it's a defense mechanism. Like, he says so much throughout this book how he needs to love himself because someone has to. He keeps people at a distance, but he acts like a jerk to get the attention that he craves so much, but he doesn't know how to gain the attention in the way that he wants. Not really. Like, he wants to be loved so badly, but he doesn't know how to get there. He does the things that he knows will work. He does the things that he knows the media and the city of Chicago that they love. He does those things because that's what's worked for him. But when it comes to Stevie and how she's not reacting the same way that he expects other people to react when he treats people badly or like acts like a jerk, it's like flipping a switch in his brain that he's trying new things and slowly but surely becoming more vulnerable with her and realizing how much he cares about her. It's so good. I am on chapter 26, page 225, 48% of the way through this book. I have sat my butt in this bed and I've read this book all day. And I will continue to do that for the rest of the day because I cannot get enough. I love Xander's and Stevie. I do. And I fear I'm going to become obsessed with this series. I fear I already have become obsessed with this series. But yeah, my goal for today, I want to finish this book. I feel like I need to finish this book. I have nothing else going on today. I just want to sit. I want to be cozy. I'm going to sit and read in my bed. I haven't done that in a while. Well, other than like the entirety of this morning. But like, you know what I mean. I haven't had a day of just rotting in bed and reading a book in so long. So going to enjoy this while I can, and I can probably power through the rest of this book and enjoy every second of it because I love it. I haven't had any caffeine today, so this might be a little rough. But last night I finished Mile High. Y'all, I was not expecting to like that book as much as I did. Dare I say love the book, so much so that last night after I finished reading Mile High, I started The Right Move. I fear I'm going to fly through this entire series. I love Stevie and Xander so much. I do understand a little bit why people don't really understand Xander's. He's kind of a dick a lot of the time, but there's a reason behind it, and it's completely understandable to me. And I can kind of like see, hear, feel the undertones and everything that he does. So I don't dislike him like it seems that a lot of people do. I will say Xander's had a couple of cringy things about him, but hey, I'm not gonna lie. It would have worked on me and it worked on Stevie, so don't fix it if it ain't broke, you know? The one thing that I was like, okay, I'm over it. The you following me thing. It was really cute towards the beginning. Like, it was like very flirty or whatever. But like, once we're dating, like once we're like in it, I know it's like your thing. I know it's like your shtick, but like, can we stop? It just got weird for me. Like, I would have been like, okay, the joke is dead. But while reading this book, I don't know if it was me or if it's whatever Liz Tom Ford puts in these books, but I was an emotional wreck for a lot of it. I don't understand why. I was getting so connected to these characters. Like, Liz, what do you put in these books? Like, what is it? Like, to the point where not only did I start an entire notes app file just about Mile High in general, but I also have a section within that notes app that is talking about points where I got emotional and or cried. Let's go over it together. Stevie's dad supporting her when she came to visit in Nashville. The trick-or-treating note the Madisons left on Stevie's door. Xander's opening up to Stevie on Christmas. Xander's going to the shelter with Stevie for the first time. Xander's adopting Rosie. Xander's taking Ella to adopt Rosie. Xander's and Ryan's convo at the gala about Stevie. Xander's asking Stevie on a date numerous times. This quote, "You want to be chosen first? Well, so do I, so choose me." Xander's ordering seemingly every kind of food known to man for his and Stevie's not date. Anytime that Xander's mentions wanting to be loved. Anytime Stevie talks about the dog shelter. That one really got me. When Ella makes it known that she's the smart one and that's why she's Belle for Halloween. Anytime Xander's talks or thinks about Madison's kids. This quote, "It hurts a whole lot less to be hated when you're not being yourself than it does not to be loved for who you are." When Xander's dad says, "I love you," and when Xander's dad thanks Stevie. That's the one that got me the most. That is what had me sobbing at the very end of this book. I just got so connected to everyone. This entire story, this entire friend group, the found family is unreal in this series. I felt it from the very beginning, and then by the end, this series is going to ruin me. As far as rating goes, I keep going between a 4.5 and a 4.25. I don't think it's above a 4.5. I think I need to go with, for now, 4.25. Because I have a feeling that the rest of the series is just going to get, like, even better. So I need to leave some wiggle room and, like, have a clear ranking system. I'm just really happy that I finally started the Windy City series. I've been wanting to start that for a long time. Now I know what I was missing out on, and I can't be stopped. I will be, like, rocketing through the rest of the series. I'm going to try and take my time and enjoy it. But knowing me, I'm just going to want to get through it, you know? And now it's time to choose the book for the third and final Christmas drink holiday beverage, hot chocolate. So whenever I think of hot chocolate, I think nostalgic. I think timeless. It's just a classic. So when I was pulling books for hot chocolate, I not only was focusing on the nostalgic vibe of the setting of the book or the time frame of the book setting, but also books that make me feel nostalgic, that are nostalgic to my childhood, just in general. It doesn't have to be the setting. It could just be the book itself. So I'm going to start with the two options that I don't physically have here with me. The first one is Divergent. That is a series that came out when I think I was in maybe middle school-ish time frame. You were either a Divergent girly or you were a Hunger Games girly. I was a Hunger Games girly. I've never read or watched Divergent, but it still feels nostalgic with the association of my childhood, if that makes sense. Similar vein, Hunger Games. Now, I have read the books, but it's been a very, very, very long time. I read the books before I watched the movies, and it's one of those series that I've always wanted to reread, and of course it has to make the nostalgic list because that was my shit growing up. So it's just a classic for me. Also, just not realizing that using the word classic and then literally none of these books are considered classics. I'm basing it off of my life, okay? So we have Ender's Game. Ender's Game I have read, but I don't remember pretty much anything that happens. I know that there's like super smart children in here, and this is like sci-fi. And this was really popular when I was like in elementary, middle school. And I remember this being a really, really, really good book. And I also remember Haley Pham, within the last couple of years, she read this book and she also really enjoyed it. So it made me curious to go in and reread this and see what my thoughts are now. Also, I could not tell you how long I've had this exact copy of this book. So just holding this feels nostalgic. I think this is the book that I literally physically read however many years ago. So just the feels are feeling. Then of course we have Harry Potter. I'm on book 6, The Half-Blood Prince. Obviously I've already read the books. I know the movies literally by memory. Test me, quiz me on it. And nothing feels more nostalgic to me than Harry Potter. Literally, me and my family, whenever a new book would come out, we would dress up in our costumes. We would dress up as different characters. And we would go to the Barnes & Noble or Books A Million, whoever was doing a midnight release party. And we would go, we would have butterbeer, we would get the books, and then we would stay up all night and we would read it. That is the ultimate nostalgic feeling whenever I think of books, is this series. Also, I want it to be fully known, I do not support J.K. Rowling in the slightest. It's just Harry Potter has a hold and permanent grip on my soul that I can't let go. Don't like J.K., love the series. The next, Twilight. Never read any of the books, have watched all the movies, but not enough to be able to remember every single thing that happened in them. Like, I've watched the first movie many times, but not the entire series. So I'm familiar with it, but I'm not as knowledgeable as I am with like Harry Potter or Hunger Games. It's just one of those book series I had so much hype when it came out, again around a similar time frame that I'm thinking of, or like I remember this being popular around the same time as everything else in my childhood, and I just never picked it up. So this is an option. So this last book, I used a different set of standards to pick this one, but whenever I look or I think about this book, I just feel that nostalgic feeling. It has those nostalgic rock band movie vibes. You probably already know where I'm going with this. Daisy Jones and the Six. All I know about this book is that it revolves around a band, and that a lot of this is like interview style, I think. And I know that there's a TV show. I haven't watched it. I don't know anything else aside from that. It's just like really cool, badass rocker band nostalgia. So this is the last option, and this is going to be what I'm reading. It just fits perfectly with the timeless, nostalgic, hot cocoa vibes that we're going for. And I'm really, really excited to get into this. Okay, so I figured that I should give you guys an update because I'm on page 209. I'm just flying through this book. The format of this book makes it hard to find good spots to stop because everything's just ongoing. Everything's so interesting that like I don't want to put it down. Overview of this book, for those of you that don't know, we're following Daisy Jones. She is brought up over in the LA area. She kind of had to raise herself. She kind of grew up on the streets a little bit, had a very rough, very difficult childhood, and found her way into being an artist and being a songwriter and a singer. That's what she wanted to do. And then the band, The Six, they come into the picture. It starts off with two brothers, Graham and Billy. They start the band, and they have Karen, Eddie, Peter, and Warren. Those are the six that we have. And basically this book is about how Daisy Jones and the Six come together to start working together to achieve their dreams, to become the best band in the world. There's a lot of trials and tribulations that these characters go through. There's a lot of addiction talked about. There's infidelity. There's people in power taking advantage of women in the industry. There are some deep things that are kind of talked about in here, but it's discussed in a way that's easy for one to be able to read and understand and comprehend. There's not a ton of detail, but at the same time, there's a lot of detail. Okay. This whole book is in the format of an interview. This is all interview style. It's all the different band members, all different people that are involved in the band and how it came together and people that they worked with. It's all interview style. So things are detailed as if someone is retelling the story, but not as detailed as if the author was describing every single thing that happened. If that makes sense. And I'm trying to figure out exactly what my thoughts are on this book so far. I'm really enjoying it. I mean, obviously I'm over 200 pages into this book at this point. Hold on. My washing machine was singing to me. But obviously I'm enjoying this book because I'm over 200 pages in at this point. But I think it's because I am nosy. Like, I want to know what's going on with everybody because there are things being hinted at between certain characters. And it's like, what happened? Who's lying? Who's telling the truth? It's like a reality TV show in my head, but like rock band version. This is so unique from any other book that I've ever read. And I just don't want to put it down. That's literally like all the thoughts I have is that I don't want to put it down. I find it so interesting, so intriguing. There are some really, really heartwarming parts. There was one in particular when it's talking about Billy and his wife Camilla. He goes through a lot of addiction and like a really difficult time. And when he and Camilla kind of work everything out, they have this really, really sweet moment of kind of recommitting to each other and just being like, I got you forever and always. I was listening to the audiobook when I heard that part and I had to stop in my kitchen and I just started crying. And usually with audiobooks, I can like zone out sometimes. I am all in on this one. Whew. The other thing, they keep mentioning Peter. We haven't heard from Peter. Does something happen to Peter? Where's Peter? But I have, let's see, total amount of pages is 337 and I'm on 209. So I have less than 130 pages left. So I'm probably just going to go ahead and knock this out. I'm kind of nervous. Like, what's going to happen in the last 130 pages? I don't know. So it's the next day and I finished Daisy Jones and the Six. I was not expecting that ending. Like, I knew that people cried at the end of this book, but I didn't really understand why. Like, as I was reading this, I'm like, okay, there's a lot of stuff going on. I can see if people get really attached to some of the bandmates. Like, I see like what could possibly happen. Nope. This plot twist absolutely broke me. I had like a ranking going on in my head of who my favorite characters were and who the characters were that I didn't like, because there were some that I was like back and forth. I like them, I don't. I like them, I don't. But there were some that were just solid. I had my top 2, top 3 even set in stone. This ending, this plot twist, having to do with one of those top 3, I was so unwell. Like, for a lot of this book, I was listening to the audiobook as well. And as soon as I heard the big reveal, the big plot twist in this, I just froze. And then just tears started streaming down my face. It was so dramatic. I would have filmed it, but I was not expecting it. I was expecting this to kind of like wrap up in like a expected kind of way, like something revolving around the band. That was not a fun time. Literally the only way that I could think to cope with the end of this book was I went into my bathroom, turned on my shower as hot as it could go, turned on the playlist for Daisy Jones and the Six on Spotify, and got the longest, hottest shower known to man. That's what I needed to do to be able to process this. This book is just so full of pain, love, heartbreak. I can't words enough to get my feelings across on this book. This was absolutely wonderful. And I think I'm going to land at like a 4.5 stars. I didn't quite get the 5-star feeling with this book, but this is truly so incredible. It really is. And I completely understand why it's a TV show now. Like, I cannot wait to watch that TV show. But I think that about wraps up today's video. This is the last book for the Holiday Beverages Chooses My Reads. I had a lot of fun with this challenge. I liked how it was Christmassy, but I could read books like Daisy Jones and the Six or Emily Wilde's or Mile High. So like, I didn't get burnt out on holiday reads. Like, I could just enjoy books that I've always wanted to read as long as they fit within the holiday drink Christmas beverage vibes. But anyways, thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!